Welcome back to Driscoll Decoded. We are part 2 of our video. If you missed part 1, I would recommend going back and seeing part 1. We really broke down puberty and that phase of life, from common signs, the time gap, everything like that, the age gap. So if you missed that, I would refer you go back to that episode and then meet us back here whenever you're done. Today we'll be talking about more about puberty, but more highlighting and emphasizing on our special needs population and navigating that as parents through that phase of life. So welcome back, Dr.
Thank you so
Depagter.
much.
So as just a high level, let's give the viewer what puberty is, those signs, and then what they can expect physically and emotionally of their children.
Yeah, so puberty is really the transition from childhood to adulthood. Usually happens between 9 and 12 to 14 years of age. And it's really getting ready for that reproductive capability. And, you know, every child is different, but a lot of the changes that you'll see are hair growth, voice changes, different odors and smells that they have. For girls, they'll have some breast development and start their menstrual cycle. There's a lot of different changes that the kids go through, and it can be quite dramatic at times.
Okay, thank you for that. So our special needs population, you know, there's not just one category of special needs. As we're going to be talking about it as a whole, we're going to break it down. So we're going to be talking about communication barriers, sensory barriers, emotional, and then just overall the parental stress and the emotional load that parents can feel while navigating through this. So communication barriers, children who are not able to express whether they're nonverbal or just can't express how they're feeling or what we're trying to relate to them and they're not understanding about this time. How do parents navigate that? What are some good tips that they can have in their pocket?
Well, I think the first thing to remember is that even though your child has special needs, they're still going to go through puberty like everybody else does. And they're going to have the same feelings that we all do and we all have. So that's really important to kind of keep centered and keep in mind. And, you know, with special needs, it's called a spectrum because there's all kinds of different, kids. So there's kids that can't communicate at all. There's kids that can sign, that can use a tablet or a device. There's children that are very vocal and sometimes too vocal. So it really, you have to tailor it towards your child. But I would say, involving your pediatrician, involving your therapist that you work with, finding the best way to communicate with your child is the first step. And like I said, there's different charts and schedules and pictures and books and things that you can use. Social stories are often very effective with children with special needs because it kind of acts out, another child or peer going through and expressing how they feel, and they can watch that and relate with that. So that's another resource.
I know you just explained
a social story is used a lot with kids on the spectrum. And basically, it's just telling a story about, like, say, Bobby went to school, he, accidentally hit his knee and got really angry and then was embarrassed later on, but went and told his mom, and his mom said it was okay. So that's the social story. You kind of go through that. So
like a real life reenactment.
Yeah, it's putting it in a scenario and it's having the outcome that you want. So he was able to calm down on his own. He was able to talk to his mom. And then he felt better. And the next time he hit his knee, then he didn't get so bad. So it's just kind of mirroring that behavior that you want to see.
Nice.
So they have those you can look them up. Your therapist, your pediatrician can help you find them. They have them on almost everything. And puberty is a good one.
Good. So once again, emphasizing on going to the pediatrician wellness checks, going to your therapy appointments, and just building that bond with them because they are a great resource. And they can really help elevate the experience for the parent as well.
Right.
Of taking on that load of, like, making sure it's communicated right and make sure they're understanding.
Right.
I like what you said about visuals as well. There's just so many tools that can be used to communicate what's happening with them.
Yeah. And you want to use, we mentioned this in the other episode, you want to use anatomical terms, clear terms to describe things. You don't want to use slang. You don't want to use like what the family calls it. And you want to be able to repeat it. So it's things that you can go over and over again. And that really helps kids with special needs kind of focus that and understand that.
Okay. Awesome. Sensory barriers and routine. Let's say, so sensory sensitivities.
Yeah.
How do parents navigate when it comes to learning something new, dealing with new stuff, dealing new senses, and just all around? What have you seen actually like in the office? What are some common, I don't want to say issues, but like common.
I've seen scenarios where they won't, tags bother them, different fabrics and things like that bother you, or not wanting to keep a pad on, constantly taking it off. An option could be a pull-up if you had to, but some kids don't even like that because they get hot and uncomfortable. So I think, as a parent of a child with special needs, you just kind of go through a process of elimination. Like, okay, you don't like this, let's try this. So just keep an open mind and try different things. And it's also helpful to talk to other parents. Like, what did you do? How did you work this out? Or your pediatrician. Just to get some different ideas. But yeah, everything from like tags on your shirt to socks to feminine products to deodorant they don't like. I mean, there's, you just have to do process of elimination, see what works.
And I like what you said about that parent like resource group, like finding that group of parents that have related scenarios.
Yeah, luckily, at least in the Rio Grande Valley, I'm in McAllen, we've got several really good groups. And the groups focus on the children, but they also have some groups for moms and dads that we get together so you can talk and build relationships with them. So
what are some of those groups?
Team Mario is one, and then Capable Kids. And then there's Parent Resource Network, which is statewide, I believe, because they have different state conferences. There's Autism Speaks, there's McAllen Autismo, there's all kinds of different groups. You just have to find what works for you and what you feel comfortable with. And sometimes it's organic, where you just, you're at a park a lot and you see another child like yours and you talk to their mom or church or, things like that, or in the family or, it's, I think my husband at first did it a lot more than I did. He would just see a stranger on the street and go, "How did you do it? How does it go? Is it going to get better?" So he did that a lot. And then I just kind of followed the lead. Like, we have to be going through some of the same things.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, I love that. It's just a community build right there. Let's see here. Are there any creative strategies that parents can do to reduce the stress or build a consistent routine, especially going this new phase?
Well, I talked about charts and calendars. And so kids really respond to that structure. And you can use not only a calendar, but you can use what's called a visual schedule. That's like, we wash our hands, we go to the restroom, we change our pad, we wash our hands again. And you can do it with little picture cards, and you can get those off the internet, or you can get those from your therapist. And you can even, we made like a laminated poster and had little Velcro stickies on there so that when they did it, then they could take it off. Or they could use a marker and check it off.
It's like an accomplishment.
So little strategies. And then you get a little reward, like you get a few M&Ms at the end. Or you get whatever. Or you get to watch Blue's Clues, or that's really old now, but
that was my favorite.
Paw Patrol or whatever, so little kind of rewards and things like that. And then just kind of make it routine, make it like a natural thing. And our kids are smart. Once you show them a routine and it works for them, they're going to do it every time. So
I love the message that you are sending, because even though what society may think of special needs, like our special needs population, like they are very smart. It's just figuring out what works for them and how they can manage through life, honestly, with these.
Just like all children, they just need tools. And as parents, we need to provide those tools. And they catch on, and they feel a lot more than we expect them to, but they feel just like everybody else.
I love that. Hormones and how they intensify. So those emotional shifts. Meltdowns, anxiety, and aggression. What tips would you give to parents?
So, especially with girls, and I guess with boys, with girls we can kind of time it around a cycle, but with boys probably in general all the time. You can anticipate and prepare that there's going to be more meltdowns. They're going to get more upset at things. They're going to be more sensitive with things. And just like with a child without special needs, we talked about preparing and talking and communicating. And I think that is the most important thing. Just be prepared. So don't be surprised when, oh my gosh, they had more meltdowns than usual. We knew this was going to happen. She's probably going to get her cycle next week, kind of thing.
Wow. Yep. I think one thing I'm really enjoying, and by also separating or emphasizing on the special needs population, is that everything can be done. There's really no difference. Things that may look a little different, but there's really no difference in how we as parents can prepare and educate ourselves to prepare them.
Right. And having been through it myself and knowing other parents of children with special needs, they're very resilient and they're very persistent, and there's not much that can get you down, and you're going to do the best for your child, whatever you have to do.
Yes.
And so, I'm very optimistic. I'm an optimistic person anyway. But you'll find a way. It's your child. You want the best for them.
Yeah.
And you'll figure it out, and they'll get through it, and it'll be done.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yes. Are there any resources for parents out there, whether they have special needs or whether the children have special needs or they don't? Are there any resources out there that can help them through this time?
So definitely there's books out there that are geared towards parents of children with special needs that are going through hormonal and puberty changes, definitely. And then I would say, again, your pediatrician. I mean, your pediatrician is your child's doctor, but you can also ask them questions and talk to them and have that dialogue. And then any therapists that your child may be seeing. And then, school nurses, administrators at your school, their teachers, especially those that have a lot of experience, other parents of special needs kids, people at your church that you may feel comfortable talking to. So I think there's lots of resources. It can be kind of hard to reach out at first, but once you start reaching out, it's very helpful. And you don't have to go through it alone.
Yes.
You don't have to go through it alone at all.
Building support systems is very important. And that's why we emphasize it all begins, if anything, really with the pediatrician, if I would say.
Sure. Yes.
With identifying those times, those moments of, okay, well, this is what we can expect in the next coming months. And then with the therapist, but also building, like you said, the school nurse, building those relationships with the school nurse, with the teachers, and everything like that. So there's more than just your set of eyes or the caregiver's set of eyes on the child.
Sure.
I really do want to emphasize that with our viewers, just building that bond, as we've talked about multiple times throughout our episodes, building that bond clinically with your pediatrician or any specialist that your child may have, and just making sure that you are well equipped with the information, educated, and so we can pass and prepare our children along the way.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is really great. We need this focal point here.
Yeah.
There's so many avenues that we could take with puberty and what they can expect, what this can look like. So if our viewers have any questions, any comments, anything that you'd like to ask Dr. Depagter, leave them in our comments below or message us on Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok. You'll be seeing some of these clips on there as well. So if you have any questions, just message us and then we can pass it along to Dr. Depagter and get those answered for you.
Sure thing.
Thank you everyone for coming, and we'll see y'all again.